U 8. izdanju emisije Diplomata, koju Euronews Srbija realizuje u saradnji sa magazinom Diplomata and Commerce, gledaćete intervju sa Karlosom Feliksom, ambasadorom Meksika u Beogradu. Nakon toga videćemo kako je bilo na proslavi nacionalnih dana Italije, Švedske i Portugala, kao i na koncertu ansambla crkvene muzike Varslavija iz Varšave u kripti hrama Svetog Save u Beogradu u organizaciji ambasade Poljske u Srbiji. Takođe, pogledat ćemo i kako je izgledala proslava rođendana kralja Čarlsa III u rezidenciji britanskog ambasadora u Beču. A sada prelazimo na diplomatske vesti. Ministar u vladi Republike Srbije Usame Zukorlić sastao se u Damasku sa predsjednikom Sirije Ahmedom al-Šaraom. Uspostavili smo nove diplomatske odnose između dve države u korist naših naroda. Posebno me dojmilo njegovo iskreno, bratsko interesovanje za stanje muslimana na našem prostoru, rekao je Zukorlić posle sastanka. Zukorlić, ministar zadužen za pomirenje, regionalnu saradnju i društvenu stabilnost, predstavio je konkretne modele saradnje kroz koje Srbija može da doprinese obnovi Sirije u oblasti infrastrukture, obrazovanja, zdravstva i privrede. Al-Šar je rekao da je za Siriju od ključne važnosti obnavljanje međunarodnih odnosa na principima uzajamnog poštovanja, razmene iskustava i zajedničkog razvoja. Zukorlić je Al-Šaru predao pismo predsjednika Srbije Aleksandra Vučića sa porukama spremnosti za jačanje međudržavne saradnje. Ministar spoljnih poslova Marko Đurić i direktor Kancelarije za IT i e-upravu Mihajlo Jovanović dočekali su u ponedeljak 9. juna na aerodromu Nikola Tesla prve putnike koji su u Srbiju ušli sa e-vizom i predstavili proceduru za njeno dobijanje. Ministar Đurić je izrazio zadovoljstvo zbog uvođenja e-vize i što je građanima 46 zemalja sveta omogućeno da apliciraju za srpsku vizu na portalu bez odlaska u diplomatsko-konzularno predstavništvo. Time je Srbija, kako je istakao, napravila kvantni skok u viznoj politici i zakoračila u 21. vek na polju javne uprave. Ministar spoljnih poslova Marko Đurić sastao se u ponedeljak sa predsjednicom parlamenta Federacije St. Kitts i Nevis Lanaine Blanchet, predsjednikom Donjeg doma parlamenta Svete Lucije Klaudijusom Francisom i ministrom unutrašnjih poslova Svete Lucije Jeremajom Norbertom, koji borave u poseti Republici Srbiji. Poželivši im dobrodošlicu, Đurić je istakao da je današnji susret odlična prilika da se detaljno razgovara o mogućnostima za intenziviranje odnosa Srbije sa ovim dvema karipskim državama. Prema rečima ministra Đurića, Srbija je jasno opredeljena za jačanje političkog dijaloga, parlamentarne saradnje i saradnje u svim oblastima od zajedničkog interesa sa ovim zemljama. Ovom prilikom Đurić je zahvalio Svetoj Luciji na potvrdi učešća na specijalizovanoj izložbi Expo 2027 u Beogradu, dodavši da se nada da će takva odluka uskoro doći i iz St. Kittsa i Nevisa. Dear viewers, welcome to another episode of The Diplomat. My name is Mijat Kontić, and today speaking with us is His Excellency Karlos Feliks, the ambassador of Mexico to Serbia. Your Excellency, thank you for deciding to join us.
On the contrary, thank you very much for coming and welcome to the Mexican Embassy.
Thank you as well. It's a pleasure to have you here. Now, Serbia and Mexico will next year be celebrating an important milestone, which is 8 years of diplomatic relations. How would you describe the evolution of this partnership?
Well, yes, next year we are going to celebrate that important date. And even though that we have information that our links started very early, even from 1848, there are some reports in the Serbian press at that time about Mexico. So we know that we established before a relationship, the social and cultural relationship, but we formally initiate our diplomatic relations. And next year we will have 18 years of that. So it's a landmark, and it's very interesting to make some kind of very brief balance. Where are we after all these years? As you know, well, we started with this important relationship, at that time Yugoslavia. And after all these years, I think that we have a very positive outcome of what is the current relationship between Mexico and Serbia. I think that it's important to stress that our bilateral relationship is based upon two main pillars: the high political dialogue and understanding between Mexico and Serbia, and very intense cultural exchanges that we have developed during all these years. So on the first element, as you know, Mexico always has expressed its support to the integral territory of Serbia over the province of Kosovo and Metohija. And this is because of our foreign policy principles, and as well our strong friendship with the people of Serbia, and according with international law. So our position has been very clear in that part. And most recently, Mexico abstained from voting on the UN General Assembly on Srebrenica. We think that it's very important to have the consensus of all the parties involved on those very sensitive issues. And we think that it's important as well to promote a much better understanding. So that is the position that we have had. And recently as well, we voted on favor of the candidacy of Belgrade to the Expo 2027. So those are very important elements, I would say, about our current balance of the political dialogue. And last October of the past year, the inauguration of the first female president of Mexico, Dr. Claudia Sheinbaum, Mr. Dacic attended the inaugural ceremony representing the government of Serbia. So I think in that sense, you see that we have a very strong bonds, a very good understanding, a good political dialogue. And this is the result of many, many years of working together. And on the cultural side, I would say that, well, this is a very interesting element because it's people-to-people connection. I feel that it's very important for the relationship among countries or between friends. It's how you can connect people, really, because it's the way that you can get closer. It's the way that you can promote many other parts of the collaboration. If you don't know the other part of the side, and you don't know how peoples are having these culture elements, how they are engaged in the mindset of many things, so it's very difficult maybe to develop other areas of cooperation. Fortunately, we have developed, as I said, a very strong and expanding cultural programs. One example is that now we have more than 45 different novels of Mexican writers and academicians translated into Serbian. So that reflects precisely how the interest of this connection has been during these years. And on the other side, I've been traveling for many cities here in Serbia, because we are promoting people-to-people connection through some institutional connection as sisterhood cities between cities or regions with a similar profile in Serbia and Mexico. So this formula, it's a very good formula, because with that we connect immediately. And these cities this region can start interacting and promoting among themselves these kind of exchanges in terms of cultural, in terms of tourism, in terms of trade as well. So that has been a very successful formula to promote that people-to-people connection. Now we have Novi Sad and Toluca, that are the sisterhood relationship. We have as well Oaxaca, Leskovac as well, and we are waiting for new of this sisterhood relationship between Kragujevac and the state of Guanajuato, the city of Guanajuato. So we are working on that. So I would say in brief that at this point, we are in a very good understanding at the political level and in an expanding cultural and people-to-people connection between our two countries.
You also mentioned the Expo. What are your expectations of it?
Well, we voted for Serbia, Belgrade, because, even the other candidate, as you may know, this was Malaga, Spain. But we were convinced that it was a great opportunity to bring this very important event to the Balkans and to support Serbia, to support Belgrade, and as well as the rest of the region, to be more active, to have a more presence in the world through these very important events. I think that this is going to be a successful event. I know that the Serbian government is working very hard. We are also considering all of how we are going to participate in it. So I think it's going to be a very interesting and productive event.
Absolutely. Now, several Latin American countries, including Mexico, have this historical bond with Yugoslavia due to the non-alignment movement. How has this historical cooperation affected the modern-day diplomatic dialogue between Serbia and Mexico?
Well, I think that it's a very interesting reference. It's a very interesting historical political reference. At that time, the non-aligned movement was an essential element for countries that didn't want to establish just or to belong to any kind of big superpower at that time in the Cold War area. No, and Mexico was a very active observer member of the non-aligned movements. The non-aligned movement, also it's important to stress that they use the United Nations system to promote their agenda in terms, for example, of the colonization process, in terms of recognizing the political and economic rights of the developing countries. They went to the UN and they proposed precisely a new world order. And we have a very important contributions about the non-aligned movement. And I think that it's a good reference, of course, that we are living in other political and geopolitical time, but we should learn about history and in order to take advantage of what we learn of a very positive contribution of the non-aligned movement.
Now, in a time of shifting global alliances, how does Mexico view its partnership with Serbia?
Well, I think that we are living in a very turbulent times. No, I think that it's difficult to know at this point what are going to be the effects of these different expressions that have been around the world. I think that we should be very cautious in order to not engage in rhetoric over dialogue and diplomacy. So I think that at this point we should be very careful and to see what are, as I said, the real effects. I think that at this point we don't know exactly what would be the repercussions of all these initiatives that are coming from either place. We are living in conflicts, very complicated conflicts in the region, in Europe. As you know, the war in Ukraine is still going on, and the situation in the Middle East, it's every day more complicated. So there are a lot of rhetoric, so I think that we should be very pragmatic, and we always need to look, and I hope that, and I'm sure that Serbia has the same position, that we look for the principle of respect for the international law and the respect of the sovereignty of the states, in order to look, in order to seek what are the best solution to all this complexity that we are facing at this moment.
Now, what has been your most memorable experience during your tenure in Serbia?
Well, this is the second time that I've been here. I was from January 1991 to May 1994.
So you've been in very different periods.
Exactly right.
A lot has changed.
Yes. So my first experience was a very difficult experience at that time. It was when all this violent situation started with the dissolution of Yugoslavia. My wife and I, we lived very sad moments at that time. And even, as you probably know, many countries decided to close their embassies here. So I was requested to go to Mexico City at the time and to make an assessment if it was convenient to close our embassy here. And I advised to my superiors at that time that not to close the embassy, because I was convinced that the strong relationship that we have with all the peoples in this region, with Yugoslavia, with Serbia, and the political dialogue that we had, the strong friendship that we developed, it was necessary to stay here because, well, true friends are in good times and bad. So fortunately, there were some discussions, and in spite of the risks for security of the personnel of the embassy, well, the Mexican government took the decision to continue open the embassy. Unfortunately, well, always the embassy has with open doors.
What do you hope to achieve during your tenure in Belgrade, and how do you envision the future of Mexican and Serbian relations?
Well, I would say that in this second mission in my second mission here, you are never satisfied because you always want more and more and more. But I would say that at this point, as I said before, the political dialogue between our two countries is at the highest level possible. I think that we have a very good understanding on many of the geopolitical complications and challenges that we are facing. I'm also satisfied that people-to-people connection we have developed a lot. We are now with new projects in order to advance this relationship. For example, I've been working with the city of Belgrade, because there is no street with the name of Mexico here. And in Mexico, we have a street with the name of Belgrade since a long time ago.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yes, and in the best neighborhood of Mexico City. So I've been approached to the authorities of the city of Belgrade, and they are being very open to express this similar gesture of friendship, because at the end of the day is other expression of friendship between the two countries. So those projects we're working on, and we are thinking that well, I expect that when I finish my mission here, the situation of the bilateral relationship will be the best as it's possible to be.
Now that you mentioned in the past cultural connections between Serbia and Mexico, but Yugoslavia as well, during the mid-20th century, Yugoslavia actually experienced a unique cultural wave that was known as UMEX back at the time, with Mexican cinema and Mexican music being very popular on the whole region of Yugoslavia. Given this historical connection, do you see any lasting cultural affinities between Serbia and Mexico?
Definitely. I think that that experience, it's very interesting because it was the first connection. The real connection, it was around the 50s, 60s, in which the Mexican cinema was had a tremendous success here in Yugoslavia. In a way, the film One Day of Life was the most watched film in Yugoslavia at that time. So it represents precisely how local people here were connected with Mexican culture. And this expression of Mexican Yugoslav music pretty much was the reproduction of the mariachi music by local musicians, very talented musicians here, that they adopt that kind of style of music, and they reproduce with their own creations, with their own songs. They compose their own versions of many Mexican songs. And that was a very interesting moment in which we established that connection. I think that this is a special relationship that we have developed between Mexico and Serbia that maybe is not with other countries. Because after that, remember the famous, maybe you don't know because you were not, you had not been born at that time, but the chapter of the telenovelas, as well, this is the second connection of the cultural, the popular culture between Mexico and Serbia. So even many people learn, and they were motivated to learn Spanish, learning
because of telenovelas.
Learning Spanish from the telenovelas. So I wonder, well, what was the tremendous success of UMEX music and telenovelas? Well, because at the end of the day, we're pretty much alike. We are similar people. We identify with the same values. We identify with many elements that even though that we are living geographically apart, we're pretty much common societies that
Absolutely.
we like to work, we like to enjoy life, no? And that was those special connections that we have developed during these 18 years, as I said, are very special between Mexico and Serbia.
Well, Serbia has been expanding its ties with Latin America, especially in trade and technology. Are there any upcoming Mexican investments or partnerships that will be happening in Serbia?
Well, yes, as you know, we have here a very important investment by American Mobile. A1 is a branch of American Mobile, and this is an important investment. We are working these days also in a very, very important investment for a global company of Mexico that is coming to the region. I cannot mention the details because we are in the final stage. But we are confident that maybe in the following weeks we are going to announce a big investment of other global company of Mexico here. And it's important because these global companies looking to the region to develop business, to make investment, and taking a platform, Serbia as a platform to expand precisely those kind of very important investment. So we have a very good news. Those are very complicated decisions because, you know, the big corporations are not taking lightly those kind of decisions. They need to analyze all the benefits, and fortunately, as I said, I hope that we will have soon a very, very important announcement about that.
Now, in March 2025, Serbia and Mexico held the 7th meeting of the bilateral political consultation mechanism, reaffirming their commitment to strengthening diplomatic, cultural, and economic ties. Given the growing cooperation in areas like the agriculture, education, and tourism, what specific initiatives do you see shaping the future of the Mexican-Serbian relations in the upcoming years?
Well, this is a very good question. Yes, we agree, since I came here, we agree that to hold this kind of bilateral consultation mechanism every year on reciprocal sides. So this year we're expecting the Serbian delegation in Mexico City. And as you mentioned, this is the opportunity in which we make a balance. Where are we? What are the projects that we have? What are the new areas of opportunity? So I think that besides the traditional political high-level dialogue that we have, besides all the expansion of the cultural and academic activities, there is a potential in other areas. For example, you mentioned tourism. I think that we can share with Serbia our expertise in tourism. We are the 6th most visited country in the world. Last year, we received 40 million of international visitors.
That's amazing.
So we can share our experience on how you can manage much better the tourism industry. And I'm quite sure that Serbia is a very important destination for tourism. So you have here a treasure that you need to explore.
Absolutely.
And I think that it's not an easy task, of course. It's an economic activity. But maybe we can share how we are handling all this tourism industry with Serbia. Other important area of cooperation is science and technology. I think that we're facing very important challenges in terms of using artificial intelligence, So I think that there are concrete projects. I have spoken with the University of Kragujevac, in which we can explore specific projects on health issues applying artificial intelligence. So this is other new venue that we can work together. And also Mexico can share a lot of experience in terms of the diaspora.
Yeah.
As you know, Mexico has 40 million of first and second generation of Mexicans living in the US. Mexico has the most sophisticated policy for approaching our diaspora. We have 53 consulates of Mexico in the United States. So we have developed different programs to empower our community in the United States. And we have designed and we have crafted a new concept of a nation that it's based on cultural values, and it's not necessary to live under the same territory. So that experience is very unique from Mexico. Absolutely. And I think that for Serbia could be as well an important element to see what we have done for dealing with our diaspora. So those are, in general terms, the new areas that we can expand our bilateral cooperation.
Now, another connection that we also share with Mexico is the love for football. And in Serbia, this is a very big thing, as well as in Mexico. Could you tell us what role do sports play in diplomacy? And maybe if you had an opportunity to experience the atmosphere on the Serbian football stadiums and matches.
Oh, yes. Well, I think that here, I would say, with all due respect, that football is almost a religion here.
Absolutely.
There is a very passionate, there's a lot of passion for football. And as you know, next year we are going to host the World Cup of football in Mexico, United States, and Canada for the first time. So it reflects that the importance of the social and the cultural and the sport links among different countries. So for the first time, the North American region is going to host the World Cup. So I think that in that sense, we need to continue working with Serbia. We remember, we have a very good memories, and Mr. Bora Milutinovic, that maybe you know, of course, him.
Of course.
He is one of the most admired persons in Mexico. He's almost an hero in Mexico because he was the head coach of the national team of Mexico, as well from other professional football clubs. So we have that connection, and I think that this is also something that we will continue exploring to expand.
Absolutely. Now, the Mexican Embassy in Serbia recently launched new cultural initiatives that you already mentioned before, including the academic partnerships and artistic collaborations. How do these programs contribute to deepening mutual understanding between the two countries?
Yes, well, I would like to refer to those interesting initiatives that we started with since I came here. One is, there are two festivals. One about gastronomic cuisine of Mexico, that we call Flavors of Mexico in Serbia. And on yearly basis, we bring a chef to cook in a restaurant here, authentic Mexican food. So with that, we want to give the opportunity to our Serbian friends to taste the original flavors of Mexico, because Mexico has one of the richest cuisines in the world.
Yeah.
And this is one project that we have developed with a lot of success. And the other very interesting project that we have presented here is the celebration of the Day of the Dead. And for 4 years in a row, we have celebrated in the Mihailov Street. We work with the Instituto Cervantes, and we established an altar for the Day of the Dead. But in the inauguration, we have an open festival. And in the first edition of this, it was around 200, 300 people that attended. Last year, we had almost 2,000 people participating in the procession that we organized, walking through the Mihailov Street. And it reflects precisely the interest of our Serbian friends in knowing this expression of Mexican culture. That both of them, the Mexican gastronomy and the Day of the Dead, has been recognized by UNESCO as intangible cultural heritage of humanity. So we're working precisely in that because, again, it's the best way to connect people to people in that sense.
Now, for the last question, I would like to ask you, what message would you like to convey to Serbian people about Mexico's friendship and their commitment to international collaboration?
Well, it's also a very important question. I think that sometimes we take friendship for granted. I think that might be a risk because to have a friendship, you need to cultivate. You need to nurture that friendship. So I think that we are obliged to continue, nurturing this long friendship that we have. We cannot take for granted in any of the different elements of the bilateral relationship. I think that we need to make the effort to continue cultivate this relationship because sometimes very natural, you are in a geographical area, in a geopolitical scenario that takes a lot of attention. As well, we are in a very complicated neighborhood, but we never should forget that we have built this very important friendship and this important relationship and partnership with Serbia. And for our Serbian friends, I would encourage them to continue learning about the Mexican culture. Try to read all the translation of the books that we have done of Mexican writers. Try to experience more in Mexican cuisine and travel to Mexico. So this is the way that you will learn more about our way of doing, our mindset, our connection with the similarities that we have with the people of Serbia.
And I hope they do hear your call and actually do come to Mexico. Dear viewers, thank you for your attention once again. Our today's guest was Karlos Feliks, the ambassador of Mexico to Serbia. My name is Mijat Kontić, and I'll see you in another episode of The Diplomat.
Švedska slatka simfonija, priče, pesme i poslastice bila je ovogodišnja tema proslave Nacionalnog dana Švedske, koji je obeležen u rezidenciji ambasadorke Charlotte Samelin u Beogradu. Uz ukusne slatkiše, pesme čuvene Abe i Avičija i izložbu o švedskoj književnosti, 6. jun proslavljen je kao datum podsjećanja na to koliko su Šveđani ponosni na svoju istoriju, kulturu i demokratske vrednosti, kao i na prijateljske odnose sa drugim zemljama. U vreme globalne nesigurnosti pozivi na mir, vladavinu prava i pravdu nikada nisu bili hitniji, rekla je ambasadorka Samelin.
Ovo je dan za nova ili osnažena povezivanja, kada želimo da proslavimo baš to, prijateljske veze između Švedske i Srbije. Saradnju ostvarujemo u trgovini, inovacijama, kulturi i održivom razvoju i radujemo se jačanju tih veza u budućnosti. Zato imamo snažan temelj, veliku srpsku dijasporu koja je pomogla Švedskoj da napreduje i postane ono što jeste danas, kao i uspješnu grupu od oko 200 švedskih kompanija koje aktivno doprinose razvoju Srbije. Srbija je važan partner Švedskoj i Evropskoj uniji. Posvećenost Švedske u podršci Srbiji na putu ka članstvu u Evropskoj uniji također se ogleda kroz opsežna razvojnu saradnju koja je počela još oko 2000. godine.
Među kompanijama koje posluju u Srbiji je i IKEA, globalni brend Švedske u industriji nameštaja.
U našoj korporativnoj kulturi veoma se osjeća ta težnja za jednostavnošću, odsustvo hijerarhije, prisustvo visokog nivoa inkluzivnosti, težnja ka inovacijama, pažljivom korišćenju resursa, prilično neformalna kultura i ono što se ljudima iz Srbije koji rade za IKEA najviše sviđa je i običaj fike, koja je naša švedska interpretacija naše pauze za kafu, tokom koje rešimo najveći deo problema.
Na proslavi Nacionalnog dana Švedske u Beogradu ambasadorka je podsjetila i na snažne veze dve zemlje u oblasti književnosti. Prvi ambasador Srbije u Švedskoj 1917. bio je čuveni srpski pisac i pesnik Milan Rakić. U Švedskoj je Ivo Andrić 1961. dobio Nobelovu nagradu za književnost, a ove godine Srbija je Nobel muzeju u Stokholmu poklonila vredan dar, Andrićevu olovku koja je sada deo zbirke Predmeti Nobelove nagrade. Oko 1300 istaknutih gostiju iz sveta diplomatije, politike, biznisa, kulture, sporta i civilnog društva prisustvovalo je tradicionalnoj proslavi Dana Republike Italije, koju je u svojoj rezidenciji organizovao ambasador Luka Gori.
Okupili smo se ovde da proslavimo Dan Republike Italije, trenutak stvaranja institucija, građanske svesti i kolektivnog ideala, koji je oživeo projekat društva zasnovanog na miru, slobodi i demokratiji. U ime ovih vrednosti raslo je i prijateljstvo između Italije i Srbije, koje se neguje još od vremena risorđimenta kroz snažne političke, ekonomske, kulturne i naučne veze.
Snažna ekonomska saradnja između dve republike osnova je za rast i razvoj i srpskih i italijanskih kompanija, kaže Romano Rossi, predsjednik Udruženja italijanskih industrijalaca.
Važno nam je da implementiramo dobar odnos između kompanija i sektora koji su aktuelni. Trudimo se da promovišemo i međusobnu interkulturalnu razmenu Srbije i Italije. Prema našem mišljenju, uključivanje centara za edukaciju u ceo proces je veoma važno, jer su mladi ljudi kreatori ekonomije i budućnosti obe zemlje.
Proslava Dana državnosti bila je ujedno prilika za promociju svega što nosi oznaku Made in Italy, počev od lepote dizajna i umetnosti do gastronomske i vinske ponude, a prethodila joj je manifestacija Dani Italije u Beogradu. Prijatnu atmosferu ispratio je mešoviti hor umetničkog ansambla Srpskog ministarstva odbrane Stanislav Binički, koji je uživo izveo državne himne. Austrijsko izdanje magazina Diplomacy and Commerce bilo je pozvano na proslavu u čast rođendana njegovog veličanstva kralja Čarlsa III, koja je održana 4. juna u rezidenciji britanskog ambasadora u Beču. Prijem je proslavljen baštinskom zabavom u rezidenciji, koja je bila posebno svečano ukrašena za ovaj važan dan. Ceremonija je počela pozdravnim govorom Eme Baines, zamjenice šefa misije Ujedinjenog kraljevstva Velike Britanije i Severne Irske u Austriji, nakon čega su usledili govori ambasadorke Kicel i ambasadorke Holland, koje predstavljaju ovu zemlju u međunarodnim organizacijama čije je sedište u Beču. Nakon što je gardijski orkestar austrijskih oružanih snaga izveo austrijsku i britansku himnu, usledila je zdravica u čast austrijskog saveznog predsjednika. Najznačajniji državni praznik u Portugalu, Dan Portugala, Kamoiša i portugalskih zajednica, proslavljen je u Narodnom muzeju Srbije u prisustvu velikog broja diplomata, ambasadora i drugih zvaničnika. U čast najvećeg portugalskog pesnika svih vremena, Luisa de Camoiša, obeležava se ne samo Dan državnosti jedne savremene zemlje, već i dani njene kulture, jezika, običaja i zajednice u dijaspori, rekao je ambasador.
Ponosno mogu da kažem da je Portugal danas demokratska i moderna zemlja, otvorena prema svetu sa globalnom i održivom vizijom. Zemlja koja posmatra i uči od severa ka jugu, od zapada ka istoku, sa živom i dinamičnom kosmopolitskom zajednicom. Portugal veruje u ljudska prava i promoviše vladavinu prava u skladu sa poveljom Ujedinjenih nacija, koja danas, u ovim izazovnim vremenima, više nego ikada mora biti očuvana po svaku cenu.
Ove godine, kao i Španija, Portugal je obeležio 40 godina članstva u Evropskoj uniji, koje je pristupio 12. juna 1985. a podršku na tom putu u potpunosti pruža i Srbiji, dodao je ambasador. Poljski ansambl crkvene muzike Varslavija nastupio je pred beogradskom publikom, koja je do poslednjeg mesta ispunila veličanstvenu kriptu hrama Svetog Save. Koncert je bio deo 9. međunarodnog festivala crkvene horske muzike Muzički edikt, a organizovan je u saradnji sa Poljskim institutom u Beogradu. Ansambl Varslavija osnovan je u oktobru 2016. godine. Dobitnik je brojnih međunarodnih muzičkih priznanja, a tokom 8 godina postojanja objavio je 3 albuma. U saradnji sa Centrom pravoslavne kulture u Varšavi kroz edukativnu, koncertnu i fonografsku delatnost predstavlja dostignuća istočno-hrišćanskog duhovnog pojanja.